Hello everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. You have to clean this up and then we will immediately jump to our tracking station because we have to plan our rendezvous with the space station. And we're actually going to do this in a very interesting way. What we're going to do is we're going to do a semi-parking orbit where we attempt to get into kind of like a parked position. Let me make sure the throttle's at max because I'm going to need it. The other thing to do is realize I may have accidentally messed up vessel. Vessel info. Rendezvous information, though, I do need. I believe the other one is orbital information. Now you'll notice the coloring and all that got messed up. That was because at the time of setting this up, I actually had a small issue with this particular window. And you can see by the several orbital information that we have. Gotta kind of fix everything. The other thing we need to do is, oh, cool. That is actually good. Let's set this so that it will slowly get into position because that is what it needs. The other thing we want to do is go to vehicle information. Delete that window. Okay. I think that is the only window that got accidentally deleted from before, but we will find out as the game goes on. Speed up time. Let it just get into a decent position. Need to do warp over here. Now, I will do a quick save just in case. Time warp is that's kind of funny. It makes sense. It's trying to get the best signal it can. 5 minutes out. Since it's 5 minutes out, we will now increase the time warp. Few minutes. Position. And one of the things we do need to do when we get there is we have to not only stop our orbit, but we have to actually get this into position facing the right direction. Once we hit the cycle down. One. Way. Hit our target point. Point nominal. Reason for that, and we're gonna check here. That's not thrilling, but it's also not the worst it could have done. Knock that, everything explodes. I should have made a save right before I did that. So now we have to... That. I should have thought of removing the struts. That would make the most sense. That point, minimize that. Notice the velocity change. Quite substantial. The problem is taking a little longer than I'd like. That's the problem. Set you to 5. Target. Because we do need to get closer. We are too far away, and don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near as big of an issue as the fact that this is quite literally going the wrong direction, but hey. close the distance safely. We're hoping to be less than 100 meters. Problem is, as we pump energy into the system, it is going to get very upset. And I probably should look at adding RCS to this as well. Removing big things like this, I probably should be building reaction wheel systems into them. After all these parts are part of the system. Crazy. Stop doing foolish things. Start doing more controlled things. Gonna warp here. We get to switch over to the target variance reduction, and then okay, that's some weird physicsy stuff. But we're fine with it. Engine speed down. to something a little bit more manageable. 5. That way we're still getting some pressure. E orbital. Give me a nominal plus. This guy, give me negative. Need to do. That just happened. Reload. Again. I gotta remember that the thing I need to do is tell it to stop the rotation. And I need to make sure that I am in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up as an action. Specifically because we've been having this issue, and I do have to remember to save. To 10. Time warp, even though I do know it's going to cause some funkiness with the positioning of the station itself. I'm fine with it. There we go. A nice little slowdown. That way I can stop it in a relative quickness. Orbital, face nominal, go here. Quick save, now that that is in the right area. Nominal minus. Kill rotation. Then we want to come here to, where is it? Edit the action group. We want to do what? Custom 4 for now. Undock. And disconnect. Then we'll tell Smart to go, and then hit 4. We'll reload. And let's see if we can do this without blowing it up. Okay, everything is disconnected. Okay, let's see if I can disconnect it and time warp to prevent catastrophic disassembly. We want nominal minus. Kill rotation. We will quick save here. Then come to our action group. We will reselect this as the undock and this as the disconnect. We'll close that. We will tell our system that we are commanding it from here. And then one more quick save. Edit action group. That's because we put it in the wrong group. There we go. Undock. Disconnect. Close. Okay. And by time warping, we did protect it. Nope, we did not. Quick save again, or a quick load. I think what we need to do we're going to be doing this in action group, so we need to get it to work. Action group 4, you need to undock. And then you need to disconnect. And then what we're going to do is we are going to hit 4. It's going to rotate till it explodes because for some reason it absolutely hates it. I'm trying to figure out why this is doing this. Or rotate. Back. Okay. It's still technically exploded. And it does mean that I have to come down here. Undock. Let that one explode. Say, hey, point back to nominal. Okay, why are you... Roll from here. Okay. Now, you point nominal plus, kill your rotation, nominal plus, docking mode. Which part of you exploded that I don't have control? Docking mode. Yay. As your target. Need you to just move along, because apparently sending these up as separate entities is actually very, very dangerous. Let us go here, go here. I do this very carefully because we have already blown a few pieces off of the station in a not intentional manner. Let that connect. So why are you, aside from the fact that you have debris fragments everywhere, you right here? Up, update, close. Set up master frequency 200, not 200, 100. Update. That should get you on a much more powerful signal. The other thing we need to do get you moving towards the station. Set that as the target. Okay. We want you to face target. At this point, very poorly. Need to remember, don't physics warp it because it's not actually going to work. Well, I might just tell you to nominal out. Because even at your current capabilities, mm-hmm. Real quick. Right. Gonna give me what I'm looking for. Does mean I'm gonna have to send this guy all the way out here. Get this. Come on. You can do it. Oh, this is gonna drive me insane. Okay, you're good enough. That was not what I meant. To the probe, because the probe's not actually a probe. Okay, why are you saying you don't have communication? You absolutely... There we go. Have communication. So, set the science lab as the target. Aim at the target. Hold docking mode. And burn to your target. Burn to your target. Burn to your target. Set you to kill rotation so that I can burn to target. Gotta remember not to put anything over Stage destroyed. Yep, that's part that got thrown into orbit. Aim at the target. Pull the rotation. Okay. For a hill on our velocity. Now I should have done this sooner, given the fact that this has such a low thrust. Point at the target. Come on, you can do it. I'm sorry, why are you in a communication blackout now? Master frequency update, close. Okay, you apparently have enough. Go like that. Aim nominal. Cool. So that specific part has docking control from here. There we go. Me? Okay, hold on 1 second, everyone. I will be right back. Sorry about the interruption. There we go. Oh. Right. Out of docking mode. Separate this off. We want you to point. We want you to point. I think the most important thing is going to be to set that as the target. Aim at the target. Switch to docking mode so I have RCS controls. Okay. Now we just need to force ourselves into an approach with the station itself. Come on. Now this isn't really designed for this, so I'm going to be wasting a lot of RCS doing this. But at least in theory, now I believe there is a upgrade I can get that would allow me to select targets and stuff like that. I do need to start making it standard on stuff like this. Okay. We are making quite a bit of progress comparatively. I think in the future I might want to make my tugs have small rocket engines on them, just to help the increase in velocity. Especially if I'm gonna miss my stuff the way I missed that. Also, excuse me. Did that separate the actual docking port? Because I would be very annoyed if it did. Yes, it did. Which means I have to reload. Woo! Okay, so that is absolutely frustrating. Go here. Now, one of the things I need to do that move it. Cute. But how do I stop you from... I'm not a fan of that. Because I can't remove this. And I don't like that. uh, let's aim the camera at this just because it's a wee bit nicer. I want to do undock and a slight time warp. Just enough that it base nominal. Since you've already thrown a bunch of pieces out, we're going to set that as your target. Aim at the target. Get moving. Target. Close the distance. This. Set that as the target. Control from here. For now, we want nominal minus. The thing I gotta remember is I have to manually decouple it because this basically has a eject system built in, which I really don't like. Really wish parts would tell you that's what it was gonna do. Hello, Wolf Demon. How are you doing today? Well, that's good to hear. Pizza is almost always great, as long as you get it from a place that knows how to make it. This, I need you to prograde for now. Select that at the target. RCS on and tell it to burn. We are shuttling parts to our space station right now, Wolf Demon. As you can tell, the the biggest problem right now with what is it, MacJeb, is that it has this habit of gaining wobble. As you can see. Control from here. Ooh. One of the issues I have is MechLab has some pretty crazy wobble. So, when you're doing stuff, you have to be very careful with it. Oh, how I wish I could turn off the staging. Basically, this wants to stage that port into oblivion, which doesn't really help me, as you might guess. So, Wolf Demon, have you played any KSP yourself? Well, we definitely overshot it. We are at least in the right postal code. I'm gonna let that burn for a second. Okay. We want to control from here. Sorry, control from there. Okay, stop was the wobble. You auto to root, auto to root, to root. Heaviest root. Close, but we want to make sure that we slow down. So we don't crash into it. Go, orbital. Yeah, we want that type of nominal. bring this up, set that as the target. Down. Yeah. You aim the camera there. Moving, get moving, and slow us down. Lights off. Turn the wheels off. One of the things that I really should do, gently undock. Wait, to do it such a way. Yes. Perfect, but do that, turn off RCS, turn off that, and now we have in orbit. Then we need to rename this because yeah, somehow got renamed on us. So we go here, we switch to this. We're going to deorbit this particular part. Which is honestly one of the easier parts because it's got such a big tow engine on it. Mr. Engine, You have full throttle controls at this moment. Turn to the Space Center. Finally, that took way longer than it should have. Well, since we have our station core and the scientific module up there, we do need to start adding our other parts. And because we are adding our other parts and we're going to be doing such a big job with it, we are actually going to come here. We are going to build an entire system devoted to getting the reaction wheel behaviors we want. And toss those on there because they look very useful. Okay. And we want to come here. That. Then we need to start building the very, very heavy module that I'm thinking of. Thermal. I think I have to put a structural bit. Here. Quite irritating. Because if I put that there, it becomes a separation. Put it here. I don't know if I can remove it. However, I do like the look of that. So, next thing we do, take max the rad shield. And then we remove the abrader because we don't need it. What we actually need for all this two, three, four, five. So This should have a radiation radiation protection. Well, doesn't really matter too much, only because of what we plan on doing with this. We're gonna need fuel tank, and then we're gonna want to do a auto-propellant tank. Double monopropellant tank, but when we do it, we're gonna also toss in the control part we are looking for. We want to take these, toss them on here, because this will give me a lot more control. And the thing we want to do is take it, go boop, boop, boop. As silly as that looks, that we then make the parent that one. Notice we have 5 here, 5 there. That is 100 radiation protection. Technically, more than enough for just about everything that we could need. However, what we want to do is come here, auto strut to the root. I think I'm going to do rigid. We're actually going to take and use this as this out. Put that on there. And then we're going to take all of you, wipe you out. Root, rigid. Boom. Now we need to come to our command and control. Add our RCS. The other control thing we want to do is intentionally put, actually, yeah, we want to intentionally put mech jeb on here. Stuff like that. Info. Got the vehicle info tab I made, but then again, I think I also just wiped that out, so. A shame, but it does happen. Do. There. Take everything from there. Boom. Then we come down here. That. And that is that stuff taken care of. The other thing we're going to do now is come to utilities and add our docking lights, because we have started to actually do that. Okay, that's a little crazy, but that is fine. Next thing I want to do is then I need to remove symmetry. You are going to be green. You red. Move from symmetry. Wait. We'll turn the light on. We're going to turn blink off. Good. Good. Turn off the lights now. Turn the lights on now. Then this rain gold, that's going to be lighting that up, making sure everything looks okay. That's cool. I do find it funny they can have us add fireworks onto the whole thing. Communications. Gonna tuck you there and there. Now, something I do want to try. I don't know if it's gonna mess everything up, but hypothetically, I do that, and then take those off. I don't know if that's going to work. I do, however, know that that is silly massive. How much do these things weigh? The heat shield. 2.8 tons, yeah. Kerbal R&D, please, fix this. Okay, that should remove a little bit, but it didn't remove that much. Again, really wish it would just give me a, hey, you know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to worry about if I have to add others later kind of thing. Only because this is so far doing fine. Check my engines. See if I have a engine with a lot of thrust, and unfortunately I don't. The only one that's going to be any good hubs. Okay. There's that. We're going to want to add normal fuel then. Okay, I think what I'm going to do then go to R&D, we actually want get this up to a nice, sensible amount. Now, I say sensible, I am definitely overclocking these little motors. This will be the KISS Mark II. We don't want a heat shield. It is a rad shield. Save it. And one of the things I need to do, get a nice payload fairing going on. There we go. Doing a save. You realize one of the things I'm forgetting. I just got done complaining about not having enough of. Yes. Save. Once. And I do notice that my fairing is all messed up. As the target. That. Rendezvous info. Bearing goes up here beyond those. Autopilot. Launch to rendezvous. We are T minus 6, 5, 4. Alright. We are moving. We have liftoff. Now it does look like this whole thing wants to wobble a bit, which does have me worried. Now, part of that is I did not use struts to lock it all in place. That is normally what I would do. I had forgotten. However, we are on launch and we are on pace. Hmm. Interesting that we have like life support status stuff, and yet it won't tell me whether the radiation shielding here is going to be enough. I believe 100 radiation shielding should be more than enough, especially because each individual compartment is going to start having its own radiation shielding. This should just push it up past the requirements. That's all it is. Now, I do believe I could have used a smaller uh, heat shield, and I'll probably look into that. But for now, we have a working radiation shield being launched. Doom. Orbital velocities relatively soon. Hmm. Oops. Now it is interesting watching our closest get annihilated in the attempt. Create a node that we can build off of. And what's going to happen is this right here is going to be where we want to be. And that should make it a 0 out. Oop. We want to Hmm. Remove, create. Add a maneuver. This. Hmm. Move, create. One thing we want to do is come here. Okay. This has a distance of 54.4. There we go. That is a thing. Assuming target. Okay. But hey, execute the next burn. Let's do this. Let it circularize the way it wants. We are. There they are. Okay. So if I create a node, third. Okay, now that you have created a node, where did you create it? You want to do basically an infinite burn. That's not going to happen. So what is going to happen going to go nodes. My periapps. Add a maneuver. Really weird that we're not getting planner. We're going to use this to remove the node. Oh. Fine tune, create. Node. Use a whole bunch of stuff and just shoot me off into oblivion. That's the velocity. Approach and doing that. Set that as your target. Remove, create. Move. Now that we've done that, fine tune closest approach. Remove, create and execute. Come on. I want to remove all nodes, create and execute. And by creating and executing again, basically given it the ability to try and get it done. Now, I don't think it's going to work as well as I'd like. However, that's not the worst. Okay. Execute. Let's see if this behaves. Don't get me wrong, 1.1 kilometers is not that far. But it is not quite where I want to be. Hmm. 50%. Mind if it's a bit of an overshoot. Right. Where's nothing? Those are good bits. I realize I didn't put any way to get electrical charge on this. So I am hoping I can get a bit of my charge back when I do this burn. Okay. That's actually not that bad. Pop the parachutes. We're gonna do a quick save. Undock. At the target. Close enough. Docking. Hmm. I forgot to add. I guess it's just too close for it to, hmm, working a lot better than I thought it was going to. Okay. Set that as target. Control from here, and we want our go to this. Lights are on. Control from here. Aim the camera at this. Set that as target. Solar rotation. Look at the target. Move in on the target. Back up, back up, back up, back up. Cool. Do this safely. I feel like the answer is no. Yeah, the hitbox is just not gonna let it. So, power us away. Orbit. Go nominal. You. You. Go nominal. Do it carefully. Wheel rotation. Hit off. New target. Your new control. Actually, gotta remember to do this right. Dock. RCS. And of course, you're pretending like you are not working. Goody, you are a pain in my... Cancel. Rename. Tug. Look at it from this perspective. Flip you because I forgot to put the lights on the other side. Point of the lights is so we can line up the docking port. And this is why I like those docking ports, because they behave themselves. We move this back into position. Boom. It is assembled. I am going to have to build extensions for these because it is kind of irritating not being able to connect stuff to it. See. No life support status as of yet. Granted, there is no crew on it as of yet, so. But 101 radiation shielding. Why not? But that's it, everyone. The station is now semi-assembled. We have our radiation protection. We have our research core. We have the wiggles. And we are, for the most part, relatively good. All right, everyone. Have a good night. We will see you in the next one. Take it easy.